So I've had this question asked to me a few times, and so now we're going to talk about this today. And that question is this: is it a good idea to start a business using credit? Or, in other words, is it a good idea to start a business not using your own money, but using debt of some form, right? So whether it's a credit card, whether it's hard money lender, whether it's an investor, whether it's family, whether it's friends. So that's the question: is it a good idea to start a business using debt? Because you hear about this a lot. So I'm gonna tell you, debt is really risky. It's a real game. And so here's what I mean by that. So put on your shades so I can see what I'm saying. And by the way, what's up? It's me, Shon-John. Welcome to the channel. For all of you who have a business and would like to start a business, even though this channel is primarily about the moving service industry, you can still get some good content from it. I still give out some goodies. All right, so get your goodies, get your feel, right? So again, back to the question is about debt. Is it a good idea to use some type of debt or providing funding to start a business? And so I'll speak based on my experience. And if this is your first time to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as that thumbs up. That way YouTube can share this channel with more people like you who need this content and will be blessed by it. And if you guys are already subscribed, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, because without you guys as an audience, there really be no one to share this information with. And I love teaching, I love sharing. I just want an opportunity to be able to give this info to as many people as I possibly can. So I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I just wanted to let you know, right? So, all right, so let's bang on this question, bang on this topic for a little bit, right? So whenever I started Jumpin' Jack Movers in 2017, my situation was a little different than a lot of people's, right? Because I was, at that time, I was living in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is where I'm from. I now live here in Dallas, Texas. I was living here, and by the way, if you guys want me to do a story about moving from Louisiana to Texas, I'll do it. Just let me know in the comments if you'd like to hear my story. I also have another channel called Middleman CEO. Go check that out on Instagram, as well as on YouTube. And if you guys are following me on here, go follow me on Instagram at Moving This CEO. I may change the title soon, because I'm really covering a lot that has to do with a lot of businesses, not just moving. And so that's important, because there are a lot of people out there that's in a tough position, and they need to know how to move, right? To know how to make those money moves. And so going back, looking at what we were discussing is, is it a good idea to use that type of funding? Because they make it sound so pretty, they make it sound so easy, but what I'm here to tell you is, man, that's real debt. That debt doesn't disappear. It's real debt. It's there waiting for you. So I don't think it's a good idea to start a business using business credit, and I'll tell you why. Or using any type of funding. I'll tell you why. I think that you should hustle and get the money that you need to start your business going. And the people in this neighborhood are so nice. Love living back here. I got a bit of a cold, so bear with me. It's probably why I sound like Darth Vader today. But I am now your father. Or your Faja. Awesome house reference right there. And so, but again, whenever I started my business, I was homeless, so obviously I had no money. I didn't even have a toothbrush, no change of clothes, no anything. I was just struggling and scraping to get by. That was life. And I had to figure some things out that would, And so I started a moving service because it was really the only skill I had. Well, that and dealing blackjack. I didn't even have an ID to apply for a job. So I jumped on Craigslist and I was like, yo, if anybody needs some help moving, hit me up, reach out. And a lady did, and Miss Kathy, and that was my first move. She paid me a few bucks, gave me a few sandwiches to take home, and that was life. I went and sat somewhere in the dark and ate my sandwiches, and I had about $40 that day. So I would go into like books, was it Barnes and Noble? Okay, yeah, Barnes and Noble, take naps. They would throw me out, so I started reading a book. That's how, so crazy. That's how I found the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because they kept putting me out of the bookstore because you can't just go into your sleep. So I had to have some books with me. So I was looking for little small books, and then somehow I ended up in the business section. I picked up a small book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I had never heard of that book, man. So I ended up reading that book just to not get kicked out. That's how I started learning about personal finance. What a story, huh? And I'm so blessed, man, so blessed. Even though I was homeless for 3 months, I just thank God, man, like where I am today, that I'm able to drive through my neighborhood, do a video with you, beautiful, amazing neighborhood, raise my son, have a family. That's just a lot, man, in a short amount of time. Live in a very nice home, the nicest home I've ever lived in my life, probably the nicest home in my entire family. And just enjoy life. Beach volleyball, there's a beach here, and like a lake, there's an island, there's so much. If you ever want to see the neighborhood, I always say, hey, just Google 76005. You'll see the beautiful neighborhood. And that's life right now, you know. So, super blessed. I got my eye on this house. This house is $1.4 million. I looked it up last night. I got my eye on the house. I really like to get this house, man. I'll show it to you real quick if I can switch it. Nope, don't know how. But this house is something amazing. I really like to get it. I've already done a walkthrough. It's just incredible. We'll see what happens. And but is it a good idea to start a business? Like I said, using funding or some type of debt? Then what I say to you is no, because I started my business with no money. Now, I didn't really have a choice, but I learned from that experience. If you're not positively flowing cash through your business, like you're not generating revenue, you're generating profit, that's a big difference. I don't need you to generate revenue. I need you to generate profit. So if you're generating profit for your business, if profit's coming through, your expenses are covered, and your business is still making money, then that's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. But if your business is not generating profit, then you're going to be on the hook. Your personal credit is going to be on the hook. Because if you go to the bank or a lender to get that loan, they're going to look at your personal credit. So if that ain't good, you know, you're not going to get that money. And then the other thing is, how much money do you really need to start a business? So if you're in the moving service, what do you need to buy right away? Think about it. What do you need? What do you need right away in the moving industry? So you guys might say, well, in the moving industry, in order to move a customer, I need a truck, I need a dolly, I need some moving pads and material, I need an employee, somebody to help me, I need a phone number, you know, office, computer, and then I'll show up and debunk all of that and say, do you really? All right, let's go over that list again. What do you really need to spend money on? How much money do you need to start this business? What do you need to spend money on? If you need, you know, think about it. What do you need? If you need if you say, well, I need a truck to do the job. No, you don't. You do need a truck, technically, but you don't have to own the truck. You can rent what you need. You can borrow what you need, use it and give it back. You can borrow your truck from one of these truck places, use the truck to do the job, and then deliver the truck back to the business and be done with it, right? You can literally do that. Now you're done with the business. You're done with the truck. You've given it back. It doesn't cost you a whole lot of money, just maybe $100 or $200. You made your money back, and you were able to do the job. You hire a guy, pay him based on what his qualities and how good he is, and that's only a few bucks too. You can borrow the worker, you can borrow the truck, you can borrow the blankets, you can use shrink wrap, but a better idea would probably be just to invest in some of those big rubber bands. And because you can reuse them, you can't reuse the shrink wrap, but you can reuse the rubber bands. So now you have everything you need. What about the dolly? Well, you can borrow a dolly. You can actually rent a dolly. You can rent everything you need. Again, you can borrow it and give it back and do your work. It's the craziest thing right now. I see a bird ready to fight a goose. That's so crazy. I think I broke up the fight by driving through. I don't know what they were yapping about. But, you know, that's what you can do. You can use the money to invest, right? So that's something, again, that you can do. You can use the money to get the things that you need and borrow it and do the business. You don't have to take on debt. If you do take on debt, and first of all, for all of those who are out here telling you to take on debt, to me, that's not right. You're not starting a business where you need $10,000, $20,000, $100,000 in most cases. If you're starting a service business, you can borrow everything you need and the things you have to buy. It's low cost. So what do you need the money for? You want to borrow 10 grand to do what? Well, advertise. Okay, that's a good point. You do need to advertise. But what if you got creative with your advertising and you use some free methods of advertising? I couldn't advertise. I didn't have any money. I had to become creative and use some free methods. Rely on friends and family. A warm market who relied on their warm market. And I created an infinite marketing plan. Right? So that's what I'm telling you. You have to be creative and you can get the things that you need. You don't have to borrow money. It's going to put you in a bad situation. If your business fails, that won't matter. You're still gonna owe that debt. So here's what I say. Hustle to get the money that you need or you think you need to start the business. Create a hustle to get the money, or keep your job and save up the money. Either save it or hustle. You can save it from your job, save up $500, go ahead and start your business, right? Or you can make cookies in your kitchen, save up $500, and go ahead and start the business. That's a better way, because if the business fails, well, the business won't fail. If you fail, that's a better term. If you fail, then you'll still be okay, because you won't owe anybody any money, and your business will be all right. So I'd rather be in that position than to borrow money and have to pay someone when my business is failing, and now I have to pay a note out of my paycheck. To me, that's not a good idea, and that's not smart. So I wouldn't do it that way. I would get creative. For those of you in the moving industry, don't go out and borrow money to start a business. Be smart. There are hacks you can use, ways that you can move that can keep you from having to do all of that spending. And so I'm just sharing that with you. Hopefully it'll prevent you from going out and getting into this ridiculous amount of debt that you don't need to be in. So learn the game. I know you look at these big companies that are in debt, the Ubers, the Airbnbs. Listen, these are huge public companies. They live off debt. These apartment complexes and these builders, they live off debt. It's good for them. It's not good for you. Debt is good for them because they can borrow money, live off debt. Elon Musk can take Tesla shares, leverage them to get a loan, make money on the shares, sell the shares back. It's a complete game they play that you don't know anything about. So don't look at these big companies and them living off debt. And they do live off debt. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you're not in a position to do that, number one. And number two, you don't have to. So think about that. Don't go and over leverage trying to buy a moving truck. No. They already have moving trucks. So if you want to buy one in the future, fine. But you don't have to have one day one. You don't have to own it. Just have access to it. Whatever you can resource, just become resourceful. Whatever you can borrow and give back, that's good. That's what you should do. Borrow everything, give it back until you have enough money to go and get your own. That's the game, right? Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up, tell someone about this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.